Hey guys, thanks for listening. I just wanted to let you know that Dustin and I had some audio difficulty that we didn't realize until after the fact. It's got a little bit of an echo. It's something that we're working on, and we try to make it as good as possible for you, but we'll take care of that in the future. So thanks for sticking with us, and hope you enjoy the podcast. Thanks. You are listening to the very first episode of The Red and White, a podcast with D and E. I'm Evan, he's Dustin, and we're going to talk NC State. I really have no idea how this is going to work. We're just going to start talking. I'm Evan. You can find me on Twitter. Follow me at ER, and he's Dustin. You can follow him. What are you pointing at me for?
Are we recording now?
Yeah, we're. Yeah, so obviously we were going to mess up. Anyway, he's Dustin. Dustin, say hi to people.
Hi, people. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at State Sports Beat. There also is a blog website that I'm just too lazy to write for, but you can look at old stuff on there too.
That would be statesportsbeat.com for those who are curious.
That's it.
So this episode we're going to be talking about football season. It's National Signing Day. All the excitement that is with the Pac-15 class. But the first things first, why is Larry Fedora trying to call us out?
Just snark. Yeah. Constant snark.
For those who haven't heard, Larry Fedora did an interview on 99.9 today, and his comment was something along the lines of a local school that he recruits against a lot was negatively recruiting against UNC. God forbid. Now, I don't know. He wasn't necessarily referring to us. Coincidentally, certain Wake Forest coach dropped a little nugget on Twitter this morning.
He was hacked, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think it might have been Elon. I mean, the Phoenix don't play anymore, you know?
He was absolutely hacked. Although, yeah, who knows? Everybody's hacked these days as soon as they do something they don't like. But the Wake coach basically called out UNC for being punk asses about their student athletes and not caring about them, which I thought was hilarious.
And true.
Yeah, and true. I mean, at some point, is it really negative recruiting if it's true?
No.
It's almost too easy, so.
And that's what Doran said on the radio, too. He was on later, and he's like, it's not negative if you just tell a kid to look at something on the internet, because if it's fact and it's out there, then that's not really slander or throwing anybody under the bus. It's just fact. What are you going to do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's low-hanging fruit. You got to point it out, right?
Yep. You're dumb not to.
Eventually, the NCAA should come knocking.
Yeah, well.
No state fan really has any faith that
that's not happening ever. They're going to do something and we're going to get in trouble for it, and it's coming.
Yeah, of course.
It's just a matter of time.
When is Carolina going to get NC State suspended? All right. Football season was a general success. It was a rough patch in the middle there, and the bandwagon got empty real quick about mid-October, but they rallied. They did a hell of a job, coming from 3-9 to 8-5.
Do you feel that some state fans were upset that the season ended as successfully as it did?
I do. I honestly think some people were hoping they could fail. I think you see that everywhere. They can point out like, "Hey, I was right. He sucks."
We want a bitch. So if I feel like he just upset a lot of people by doing well.
Yeah. As you can tell, Dustin and I are big Dave Doran fans. In fact, I told him before we hit the little record button that my goal for this was to eventually have Dave Doran invite us into his office so we can do this podcast.
Yeah. Hopefully with buffet, something like that.
Happen with the first episode because this is a train wreck.
No, man, it's a growing thing.
We'll figure it out, and hopefully that's our goal. So maybe Dave Doran will hear this one day and say, "Hey guys, come up here, sit in my chair, record this podcast, tell us how great we are."
Maybe name the office after it.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Right. I don't know. Like we said, we're Dave Doran fans. We believe in where he's going with the program. seems like it's heading in the right direction. It's football, so it takes a long time to build, and you can't really, get one key recruit and turn it around. Good coaching can take up, part of it, and you have to have the players. That's what it comes down to. Tom O'Brien kind of left us in a dumpster fire depth-wise.
The thing about TOB, we won games. The players were straight, system players. They were only made for his pro-style system. He could coach the hell out of that. I'll give him that. He won games he shouldn't have. He lost some he shouldn't have too. But it's a work in progress. And I tried to justify it after the first year. Well, we won 3 games, but if you look at recruiting, and all I heard was, well, recruiting's not coaching. You have to be able to do both. And he went from 3 wins to 8, so I don't know what excuse you could use now to say that the man can't coach. It's there. The results are there. That's justification enough for me. I don't know what else.
Yeah, it just takes time. It's hard when you're a State fan and you've been miserable for 25 plus years now. Basketball and football they've been close, but the stars haven't aligned. One year you have Phillip Rivers, next year you have Mario and Manny and all those guys, and they just, stars in the night passing. If that team aligns,
it's pretty much gone wrong since I was in the womb, to be honest. It's just a disaster. It really is.
Yeah, but he seems to be going in the right direction. I like what Dorn has to say. I like how he has to say it. He's kind of a low-key guy, but he's the right guy. He's a guy you feel like you can trust, and I think the recruiting has shown that. And the fact that the guys, they want to be in a family environment. You keep hearing the word family involved, and I think that's important. I think that's a message he's selling, and I'm buying it. If I was 18 years old, I'd want to go play for him.
He's a straight shooter.
He's a straight shooter.
He's keeping it 100 all the time. That's honest. Capital letters.
Yeah. I don't know. I just any coach that ends the season with a 35-7 beatdown in Carolina, I'm a fan of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But really, when you look at it, it's not that big of a win because they were really bad. But it's still the rival.
Going into that game, I was concerned just because their offense has scored a lot of points.
Yeah.
And
just shut down.
We're NC State, so things like that happen. But the coaches had a good game plan. I've heard rumors about certain UNC folks trying to peek through the bushes and spy on practice, and during that time the coaches were running all pass plays to try to throw them off. And then it was 2 days, but from what I heard, it was 2 days that one of the guys was out there.
This is a real thing?
Real story.
I've not heard this
before. Yeah. So apparently, I don't say he was a coach, but somebody affiliated with the program was trying to watch practice.
I think I saw that guy at Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. And so they knew he was there. They kind of threw a false game plan out there. Carolina expecting us to pass the ball. And what we do, we came out and run it. I don't know.
Just down their throat.
Times.
Yeah, it was
absolutely
nasty.
And somewhere on the second day, that said jersey wearing fellow was out there hiding in the bushes. I believe Thunder Dan might have asked him quite nicely to leave practice. But we'll see. I don't know how much of that is true. I thought it was pretty hilarious, even if it wasn't true. Still pretty good.
It's just a good story either way.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
Honestly, I believe it. I wouldn't put anything past those cheaters. So, who knows? Anyway, kick their ass.
You shouldn't talk about the flagship like that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the flagship.
Yeah. But
the Carolina game was good, but honestly, the measuring stick was that bowl game.
The bowl game was awesome.
That they beat a hell of a team. The people don't give enough credit. That was.
Dorn's pointed out quite a few times now that if UCF beats NC State, that's 3 years in a row they've won 10 games.
Yeah.
You can be playing in the Cap 7. I don't care. That's still winning 10 games every year.
Not an easy feat.
Yeah. I guess it's not the Cap 7 anymore, by the way. whatever. Those Cap 7 when I was in school.
Especially going to Florida and doing it.
Yeah, going down there, going in their baseball stadium. I don't know what.
God, that field was terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they played well doing it too. It wasn't like it was a fluke win.
No.
It got close late, but that's NC State. That's what we do.
It had to happen.
It just had to happen. But it was good. It was a good win, and I think that tells you where the program's going. Next year, the schedule's kind of a dump.
Set up for success, though.
It is set up for success. It's a perfect way to say it.
Yeah, it's called the Duke Roadmap.
Yeah, it is. It is. I guess Duke has made they've made a program out of it.
Yeah, I think we owe royalties to Duke's scheduling staff.
That fires me up more than anything. Is Duke plays nobody for 5 years, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh, they're relevant." They won 10 games. Well, you win 10 games when you're playing Troy 5 times.
But they almost beat A&M.
They almost beat Arizona State too.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. It's the story of my life.
Yeah. But I don't know. We're doing it now too. I think part of it was what it was inherited.
Yeah.
Part of it was who was it? LSU backed out of a game 2 years ago.
I wouldn't want to play us either. They're scared.
Yeah, obviously.
We were going to go to what is it, Death Valley?
Yeah.
I don't know which Death Valley, but yeah, we were going to go down there, and I know I was going to go down there and just raise a bunch of hell. So they just didn't want any part of that.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure that's what it was. Who knows? Scheduling's weird. Scheduling when you get into high major D1 is strange. Maybe we can get Debbie out in here to explain this one day.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do think scheduling is going to get better though.
Oh, absolutely.
With the requirement now, so we got Mississippi State coming up.
Mississippi State, Notre
more
Dame,
cowbell, and
more cowbell. I forgot who else we have.
West Virginia. I think. Yeah. It's burning couches. Those will be fun road trips.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have some good games in the future. Unfortunately, we have to make a road trip to where are we going this year? South Alabama.
Yeah.
And what's the other
Virginia Beach.
Old Dominion.
Old Dominion.
Yeah. So anybody wants to go on the South Alabama road trip with us, let us know.
Yep.
What's up?
Biloxi, our way, casinos.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time.
We'll be there.
Yep.
Already got approval. But anyway, yeah, we're kind of rambling now. That's cool. What happens? What we have next, Pac-15, National Signing Day. Dustin, tell me your thoughts on
those running backs.
Ridiculous.
Good Lord.
Ridiculous.
Is it wrong to say that it could be the best backfield in the country?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I know it's us, but when you have Shad, Days, and then you add in Frazier, Hines, and Gillespie, I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, I think Frazier might be I can't think of a recruit that's as big as him.
Yeah.
For the program itself and what that says about the program.
Dude, Nick Saban was in his living room.
How do you? I wouldn't turn down Saban.
Yeah.
I would do whatever he told me. So I don't know. You look at those 3 days still there, plus a year left with Shad. I just don't know.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know who's gonna be the impact of that group. By all accounts, early on, everybody was saying Frazier was raw, so he was going to take a year. He's going to need a year to learn how to play running back or whatever. But now everybody's saying, instant impact kind of guy.
Well,
I know Hines is going to play, so it leads me to believe Gillespie's going to redshirt, but he's also enrolled early.
Right.
So he's here. He's got a head start on those guys.
I'd be great with a Frazier redshirt.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
I feel safe giving the keys to Shad.
Yeah.
Let Hines, spell, plus Matt Days.
Yeah. Jalen Samuels.
Yeah.
Eventually, he's going to learn the playbook, and he's going to get a lot of plays.
Yes.
Because that guy is some kind of freak.
I'd still be, as stacked as they are, I'd be fine with Samuels just going full out tight end.
Yeah.
I mean.
That's what he's listed on the roster now.
Yeah.
It's just on the roster, but that's what it says.
He's a beast. Let him catch a pass 10 yards downfield going full speed, and he's going to get you 10 more at least with people on him. Question though, that's worried me since we started stacking these running backs. Is there going to be a transfer issue in a couple of years?
I mean, you can always see there's almost so much playing time, right?
Exactly.
maybe somebody like Nichols, but from all accounts, he's bought in, and he's, they're talking about moving him to DB or whatever. He looked good on kickoff returns last year. At the end of the year, he was running them. I don't know. I mean, there's always some kind of attrition. I don't think it's going to be from the 14 or 15 class.
I'm just worried. I'm worried about the big three this year. Say one really takes off, but the rest of them, the other two, where they could go somewhere and start.
Yeah, that's different about what Doran's doing. I mean, if you listen to these guys talk, like Gillespie he was pumped when Hines and Frazier committed both times. I mean, you follow him on Twitter, and he's like, "Oh hell yeah, I get to play with these guys." I mean, I guess the competition makes you better, which is awesome to see, because so many times you see programs they get a bunch of talent and somebody leaves because they don't want to compete.
Right.
But you get the right kind of guys that work hard and are willing to compete, and I think that's where you build a program. I think it's how you build a program.
It is. I just hope they stick with that attitude.
Yeah.
Because it might get to one of them seeing the bench a little more than the other two, but I think that's another good thing too with the system itself. It allows for so much action in the backfield.
Yeah.
It's nothing for two backs to be back there. I mean, most of the game, three. It wouldn't, it's believable. It could happen. So
there's no doubt in my mind that if Shad was the feature back all year, he would have had 1,000 yards.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was close to it as it was.
Oh yeah, easy.
But the kid, you don't hear him complaining about it. Especially Shad's come a long way from planking on top of McDonald's signs or whatever he was doing.
I like the planking though. I didn't have a problem with the planking.
Funny,
some of the other stuff I had an issue with, but yeah, he seemed to grow up so much.
Yeah. Said he was staying. Everybody was concerned that he was going to enter the draft. Yeah. But him sticking around as a senior is just going to be. It's amazing for us. He's a real deal running back, and I think he's an NFL talent. Maybe a third round guy, second, third round guy, if he has a good year this year. But I definitely think he's got the talent to play.
Oh yeah, that extra year he's going to get in school is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Going to the league. I mean, he might have had the talent, but having an extra year to develop is something a lot of kids just throw away, and they shouldn't. So I think that's a big deal. And I think too that, well, if it weren't for Georgia Tech, we might be the most feared running game in the conference. Is that fair?
I mean, at least talent-wise in the backfield, you got to think it's crossing people's minds. That's for sure. I'm a big fan of it,
especially with the quarterback running.
Yeah, and they didn't run Jacoby at all early in the season. The first 4 games, and then the stretch of 5 where they just didn't play well, or stretch of 4. I mean, they played all right, I guess, against some of the teams, but they just, the freak 2 minutes of Georgia Tech game. I mean, that completely swings the game.
That game was so much closer than the score.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks awful, and it was awful, but
it got awful quickly.
Yeah.
But if they were there, they were playing hard. Georgia Tech turns out to be a pretty good team, right?
They weren't bad, I guess. Yeah.
They ended up a pretty good year.
Paul Johnson's dream, just everything went well.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so they didn't run Jacoby at all. I mean, they had no depth. Jacoby gets hurt.
Yeah.
And your season really goes down tubes. But they played it smart. They held them back, until the last few games, and they let them go. And it worked because they crushed Wake and they crushed Carolina. And those are important victories for us. That's for sure.
Yeah.
For recruiting and just for confidence in the fans.
And I think you'll see that style from the quarterback for the bulk of next season.
Yeah, now that
being not afraid with Jalen, that can come in and take snaps and.
Yeah, Jalen's ready, and everybody's raving about him in practice. And now they got some depth coming in with Jacoby Myers coming in. I know he's going to redshirt, but still, that's options there. You have scholarship quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We didn't have any depth at quarterback position since.
I don't know what you mean, because I remember the glory years of Pete Thomas, or the glory year of Pete Thomas.
Yeah. He got benched for a freshman at one of the Louisianas, wherever he went.
Who was the Louisiana Tech? I think.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think he got banned. I think was it Skip Holtz's team?
Yeah, it would be Tech
So
then.
it's Tech, and he definitely got benched.
Yeah, he started the game at Louisiana Tech and still threw an interception for NC State. So that's
No, I'm dogging the guy, but man, he took a beating.
You know, I think
Colorado State and then our offensive line the year he was here.
But
the kid took a beating.
That goes back to the thing I said about Tom O'Brien. I think if he were in Tom O'Brien's system, he would have been productive.
Yeah, probably.
Because he was that prototypical Tom O'Brien quarterback. I think he was better than it looked. He just is a system quarterback. That was it, and he was not right for Doran's system. There's no way around that. So,
yeah. Moving on from the running backs, which got us off on a tangent. There hasn't been much flipping, and I think that's a credit to the staff, Doran and his guys. They've held the class together for the most part. There were rumors today about Emmanuel Olinga potentially flipping.
Yeah, I kind of got worried.
Yeah, so did I.
I mean, he started it on Twitter last night.
Yeah.
With what was it?
It's
going to be
yeah.
People are going to be really surprised.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, they shouldn't be. So
I'm not surprised, but so you get concerned, but they did a great job keeping it together. We lost Zaninga to Florida, but can't hate that. If you have an opportunity to go play at Florida, it's a good opportunity. But then they ended up with Andres Bryant, who's a freaking monster.
Oh, he's
6'2", 350, something like that, and just big and strong. He'll plug some holes in the middle.
And he came in as what was a 2-star, 3-star?
Yeah.
He's so much better than that.
He's strong, and that's what you want from a nose tackle, man. You want somebody who can plug those holes. So they did well. They did well keeping it together. They did last year as well, so it's not really a surprise. But you always, especially as a State fan, when you're just always waiting for the worst. Especially on signing day, you're thinking, all right, who's going to flip?
Yeah. It's going to be a slap in the face.
Yeah, it absolutely. Yeah, you're just waiting for it.
Something's going to go wrong. I was actually I pulled up this morning the live stream of Frazier signing.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, oh, this is awesome, And then I remembered that the last signing I watched was Rodney Purvis. Oh. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just turn it off.
Kevin Ollie's Ferrari.
Yeah. What are you gonna do though?
In the garage.
Yeah, you got to pull it out. So, but yeah, hopefully this turns out better than that one.
Yeah.
If not, I promise I'll never watch one again. But I'll take the fall if it happens. But
all right, folks, you're here to hear first. If Johnny Frazier ends up in NC State,
yes, if Johnny Frazier goes to UConn, it is my fault. So,
yeah. I don't know. One of the best things about what Doran is doing is he's doing it with in-state guys. This is the second year in a row that he's gotten the back-to-back. I guess arguably the best defensive player in the state. Some people say it's Shy Tuttle. A lot of people said it was Roseboro. I'm going to go with Roseboro.
Yeah, easy.
Completely unbiased, right? Absolutely. And then Kentavious Street last year. That's the foundation for a good line.
That line is going to be
right. And then
tough.
Dexter Lawrence, 5-star from North Raleigh, Wake Forest, was supposed to be visiting. And they've been going after him hard. So it's very possible that they could bring in Street, Roseboro, and then Lawrence next year. That's filthy. That's filthy depth.
Then you're going from best backfield to possibly. I don't want to say best line, but potential.
There,
yeah, absolutely.
2 4-stars and a 5-star.
And scheme wise, you have that attacking D like we had the last half of the season. That's tough.
Yeah, I agree. Person I was most excited about was Nyheim Hines. I think everybody was, but you saw the kid play as a junior. First time I saw him play, I was like, he's the real deal. He's a player. He's a game changer, and that's somebody we need. We absolutely don't have that guy, and he's in your backyard. You start keeping these guys home. That's as close as you can get to building a fence around the state when you get, what do they have, 4 of the top 10? I think that's impressive to me. It really is when you got all these schools coming after guys. Clemson, Tennessee, just poaching kids from North Carolina historically. And the message that they're sending is that even if you don't play for us, stay in state. And I think that had an effect. Kendall Hinton goes to Wake Forest. Rocky Reed decommits from Tennessee and goes to Wake Forest. Wake Forest got somebody else who recently, and I forgot who, but the message is there, and I think that's what everybody needs. I think you can credit Doeren for helping everybody else's recruiting just by that one simple: stay home, be the man in your state and from your town. I think that's. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm a kid, that's what I'm buying into, right? You can go to Florida or Alabama, and, you can be on a team, or you can stay home and build something and be remembered for it. Torrey Holt, he's a North Carolina kid, and despite his 10 Pro Bowls, he's still going to be. He would always been remembered as one of ours, one of the best from this state ever. He was amazing. And
still loves school. I mean, he's all the time involved with the program. It's nice to see.
And you see like some of the old coaches come back. Thunder Dam's coming back, and all these other guys that are from North Carolina that still, are remembered. Because they stayed home. They helped, build NC State to where they're going. I think it's awesome to see with what Doeren's doing, and getting a guy like Hines he's a game changer. He'll be on the field even though he didn't enroll early. You'll see him line up in the slot and do all sorts of weird things, I'm sure, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, especially with Hines leaving, or Bo Hines leaving, trading the Hines for Hines.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be that big of a drop off at all with him sliding out.
There shouldn't.
No.
Everybody liked Bo. Bo did great. He had great hands, never dropped a pass, which is what you want in your wide receiver. And it sucks that he left, but he left. I'm not gonna hate a kid for wanting to go to Yale and have political aspirations or whatever it is. The weird thing I thought about that was he eventually said, "Yeah, I still want to play in the NFL." And I'm thinking the NFL is gonna, I get the Yale education thing, but if you want to get to the NFL, that's still part of your dreams.
That's not the easiest path.
I don't really think you go through Yale to do that, but I don't know. It is what it is. He was an instrumental in Pac-14, so you can't dog the kid.
Oh, he was a hell of a recruiter.
Yeah, just.
I mean, as long as he doesn't recruit anyone to Yale, we're going to be fine.
Don't flip anybody to Yale, though. Thanks.
Yeah, but if you got the brains and that's where you want to go, then you can't hate the kid.
Right.
I think we might take it better than Coach D did, even if he doesn't let on. But I think he had a little more angst about it. But what do you think with him and Valdez Scantling?
Dude, Valdez Scantling was tough, man. I liked him because he had a pretty good freshman year. He came in, he didn't have any depth, and he came and played and made some plays. But he was frustrating last year. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. He had some drops that were just drive killers and momentum killers. And
you don't usually see a sophomore slump in college football, but that's exactly what it seemed.
It really felt like that.
Because after that freshman year, I thought he was going to be money. I really did.
I thought somebody like Jamichael Ramos would be a transfer candidate just because he didn't see the field at all last year. But with Scantling kind of caught him by surprise. But man, he was frustrating. He had the potential. He was fast. He just I don't know. His hands were slippery at times.
Yeah, at best.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
But that's I was going through and trying to pick out someone that I thought would be a big sleeper from this class, and I kept coming back to all the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Because they've all got a chance to just come in, immediate impact, and I think there's some good kids there too.
So historically we've converted guys from other positions to wide receiver. I mean, maybe not recently, but we've done it in the past. Tremaine Stevens, Tremaine Hall, those guys. They end up going like slot guys, but then you get a true wide receiver. And I know he was. I don't know if he. I think he's a blue shirt, which means he's not coming in until fall semester starts. But Vernon Greer from Charlotte he's a wide receiver.
Yeah.
He plays in Mallard Creek, which is a ridiculous high school program, and his numbers were awesome.
He's so fast.
Yeah. I want guys that can catch.
Yeah.
You're fast, you can catch, even better. Sessoms from Winston-Salem area. Dude runs a 4.2. I mean, that's That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that was multiple times too.
Yeah.
Under. I mean that.
My car doesn't go that fast.
No.
So you get, I mean, he's small, but he's played wide receiver, and you get that speed there, and you get these guys that have played wide receiver in high school, know the position. I mean, I think that's a difference maker. You can get on the field early if you have an understanding of the position. I think that's what you've always lacked is like a pure wide receiver that was a good route runner. Route running in college is really what separates, in my opinion, separates a lot of wide receivers. And that's why Bo got on the field so quickly because he has a really good route runner.
Oh, I'll take a good route runner with good hands and under 6 foot tall over a 6'5" guy that just runs downfield any day. I mean, possession receivers will. If you have an accurate quarterback, you don't need size.
And you saw that with Underwood. People dog Coach D for not playing Underwood that more, but he has struggled with hands at times.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be as fast as you want, but if you're not, pure wide receiver, your hands aren't there, then it's drive killers and momentum killers, and it's frustrating. So I like to see that they bring in, these guys that are wide receivers.
In Underwood's defense, I think he might have lost part of his soul that Clemson game 2 years ago, where he won the game. Whatever, we would have won the game.
This
and
podcast is going to be.
It was too positive. I had to bring it down to NC State level.
He's trying to cut me deep. So brutal.
Yeah,
that's just one of those. That's one of those things you just. Yeah, it really. You think you're right. He really lost a part of himself.
I mean, really, if you look at him from that point in the season on, there was a drop off.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into officiating, but you all know. You know.
We can talk for hours about that.
But yeah, I think wide receiver, all of them have a shot, real good shot. Sessoms, I've really that's you can't teach speed.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't.
Teach 4.2.
No.
I think I heard, might have been on the Wolfpacker podcast. They were talking about Sessom's 40 time, and it was the fastest combine measured 40 time that has ever been recorded.
Jeez.
I think Chris Johnson, the former ECU running back, was 4.24. Sessoms was 4.23. I mean, that's elite level speed.
It is.
I don't know if he'll get on the field this year, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see that speed come in. See the pure wide receivers coming in. I still think we need to go after an elite level wide receiver.
Yeah, but I think getting consistent play out of some will lead to that.
Well, it helps when you have 1,000 running backs that can all take the ball.
Yeah.
So you don't really need it's not a whole lot of pressure there, but maybe just comforting if we had a elite level wide receiver out there, especially when the program's been known for,
putting guys up.
Yeah, wide receivers from you go back to Haywood Jeffries and Mike Quick and Torrey Hole and Jericho and Eddie Goins and all these other guys leaving out. We've always had good wide receivers.
Yeah, there's no reason. If Georgia Tech can get the guys they've got running that,
such a scam. All they do is run deep.
Yes, I mean I'll never understand why a high caliber receiver like that would jump at the chance to go to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Not dogging them, their system works, but it's not for a receiver to show it off.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Who are you most excited about other than the wide receivers?
I guess I would probably go with Emmanuel McGirt.
That would be my pick.
Was it? He's a hoss. I don't know the proper word, but he's
a big fella.
Yeah, he's gonna. There's not really been a track record of elite offensive linemen, consistent offensive linemen.
Yeah.
But most of look at players that State's put to the NFL. It's been D-line. Well, Sweezy's offense now, but it's generally been defensive linemen, and he's got he could end up getting paid to play. So and I think it was a big get being from the Triangle to recruiting against the offers he had. Not only local schools but I know he had a Penn State offer, Tennessee, South Carolina offer.
He could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, it was
30, 40 offers or whatever the number was. And he's just, he's an elite level tackle. Especially when a team loses both tackles next year. I don't know if he's going to come in and have an impact right away, as a true freshman. Because that's hard for a tackle. It's a hard position to learn. But just having him there, maybe he gets his first, maybe he redshirts, right? Maybe he's ready when McClendon takes over. So now you have something to build on. You have a foundation to build on: running backs, tackles, quarterback, slot guys. I mean, it's offensively, it's impressive. It's awesome. It's exciting to see.
Especially when you look at, you start putting a quality player on the O-line, and then we've been bragging about the D-line. Well, guess who they're going against in practice? Mm-hmm. That's not going to hurt either. That's going to help both sides. I expect big things from him. Like 2 years down the road, he's going to be awesome.
Well, I don't have much else at this point. You got anything else you want to add?
Quick prediction for next year.
Oh crap! I think I went through the schedule, and I feel like we should get 9 out of that. I know that's ambitious, being a State fan, but I don't know how I can see it.
We should have four wins to start the season.
Oh,
so
sure.
You're going into conference 4-0, kind of similar to this year.
So let me rattle down the schedule real quick, if I can pull it up here.
I just can't see it being worse than last year. I think 8's a definite.
So Troy, W. Eastern Kentucky, W. Old Dominion, W. South Alabama, W. Louisville to open the ACC. I don't know. I'm not sold on. No, I'm one of the few that's not sold on Petrino and those guys.
We could have had that game this year.
We should have had that game.
Yeah.
So that could have been a game changer.
I honestly pick that as the game that puts it from 8 to 9, because I think they can grow enough to finish a game like that.
Yeah,
that they couldn't last year.
We can win that game at home. At Virginia Tech, I don't think Virginia Tech's that good, but we're playing at Virginia Tech on a Friday night.
Tough game.
That's gonna be a tough game.
Away game on a weird day.
Yeah.
That's just not a good formula at all.
Yeah. So I said was that 5? Wake Forest got the black hole that is Winston-Salem. We're not going to talk about. I lost a bet, and I'm wearing a Wake Forest shirt while we record this podcast. Dustin hadn't pointed
it
out
looks
yet.
It looks great on you though. It really does. It brings out your eyes.
I gotta think we can win in Winston-Salem, but we hadn't done it in 10 years.
That's a W.
So all right,
that's a W.
That's 6. Clemson, that's a tough one. That's a loss.
That's a loss. Yeah.
At Boston College can go either way, I think. Let's mark it as a loss here. So that's 6. Florida State loss 7. Should be able to beat Syracuse 8. Should be able to beat Carolina at 9. So I'm comfortable with 9. Losing a game like BC, winning a game like Louisville.
Yeah.
Just the fact that BC and Virginia Tech are on the road makes it a little tougher. But I think 9's legit. With a legit chance with this program, with this team.
That's scary though, because 9 means a bowl game and then a potential for a 10-win season.
No, we don't want that.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with we'll go 8.5. But yeah, 8 for sure. I think there's a chance for 9.
I did read somewhere that Syracuse was dogging us about us winning up there, and that they're automatically counting us as a W for when they come to Raleigh next year, which I thought was ridiculous.
Oh, are you talking about one of their little beat writers talking about that? Yeah, he also said that we were starting a new quarterback next year, so I don't put a whole lot of faith in that.
That's probably true.
Somebody doesn't know what they're talking about, but
yeah, he's not going to be a guest on this podcast. I'm putting it out there now. Not invited, dude. Sorry. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. Unless Dustin's got anything else. Any other questions to ask?
Totally not state related, but football related. Petrino pulling an offer day before signing day. What do you think?
That's cold, man. That cuts. I like the response that the high school said is that Louisville's not allowed to recruit here anymore.
Yeah. That
I mean, that kid. It's not like he was a chump. He was one of the first kids that committed.
he was Mr. Football in South Carolina.
Mr. Football in
Yeah.
South Carolina. I watched him in the Shrine Bowl. He had a good Shrine Bowl. I mean, that's just. I mean, I know recruiting's dirty, and I know people said Spurrier did it, and Dingleberry at Auburn did it too recently, but I don't know. It just cuts, man. It just Petrino doesn't get a pass at it, right? He doesn't get.
No, he's doing everything he can to keep his upstanding reputation.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely, he's frustrating. You know, and that was frustrating. I feel bad for the kid, right?
Yeah.
I had no doubt he'll get an offer. I think he did get an offer. He got offers from Wake and other places, but just it's kind of embarrassing. You're the kid, and it's just.
It's not fair. Petrino's sleazy as hell.
It's sleazy. I mean, that's
so.
Petrino.
Yeah. Anyway, didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but that really pissed me off. So, anyway, I think that's all I got.
Yeah, we'll probably talk basketball in the future. Right now, we just want to talk football. Dustin and I have had all these random conversations, so now we decided to record them.
That's it.
But hopefully, check y'all out next time, or y'all can check us out next time, and we may at some point disclose our top secret location that we were recording this from, because it could be a fun time. We have some things planned for the podcast, so we'll see what happens. Hope y'all have a good night. Later.